Welcome to Slow English with Tom and Emma. I'm Emma.
Hi, I'm Tom. Today, we'll rent an apartment and sign a lease agreement.
Learn easy words for housing and legal documents.
Listen 25 minutes each day for progress.
Ready to find your perfect apartment, Tom?
Absolutely. Let's start our apartment hunting journey.
Follow Slow English with Tom and Emma for simple English every day. Hello, is this Tom? I'm calling about the apartment listing on your website, the one on Oak Street in the downtown area.
Yes, hello. This is Tom speaking. Thank you for calling. Which property are you interested in? We have several listings right now.
It's the two-bedroom apartment with a balcony. The price is $2,500 per month. It says it's near the metro station.
Oh, yes, the Oak Street apartment. That's a wonderful property. Are you looking for something in that area specifically, or are you flexible with the location?
Well, I work downtown, so I need something with good public transportation access. The proximity to the metro is really important for me. How long has this apartment been on the market?
It's been available for about 3 weeks now. The owner is quite motivated to find a good tenant. The apartment itself is very nice. It has modern appliances, and the building has a gym and a small garden area. Have you ever rented an apartment before?
Yes, I've rented before, but it was in a different city. I just moved here from my job 2 months ago, so I'm still getting to know the area. Can you tell me more about the apartment? What's included in the rent?
Good question. The rent includes water, garbage collection, and building maintenance. However, electricity and internet are separate. The building is very modern, built about 8 years ago. It has secure access, which is good for safety. There's also a parking space available, but that costs an additional $200 per month.
I don't have a car yet, so I won't need the parking space. What about the lease terms? How long is the lease?
The standard lease is 12 months, but we can sometimes negotiate shorter or longer terms depending on the owner's preference. In this case, the owner would prefer a 12-month lease minimum. There's also a security deposit required, which is usually equivalent to 1 month's rent.
That makes sense. So the deposit would be $2,500 plus the first month's rent, plus any utilities I use in that month. When can I see the apartment? I'm quite interested in it, but I'd like to view it in person before making any decisions.
Excellent. I'm happy to arrange a viewing for you. The owner is quite flexible. Would you be available this weekend? Saturday afternoon would be a good time. We could meet at the building at, let's say, 2 o'clock?
Saturday at 2 works perfectly for me. Where exactly is the building located? I want to make sure I can find it easily.
The address is 457 Oak Street, Building B. It's in the downtown district. When you arrive, just call me and I'll meet you at the entrance. There's a small cafe across the street if you arrive early. Do you have any other questions before Saturday?
Just one more thing. Are there any pets allowed? I'm thinking about getting a cat in the future.
That's a good question. Many buildings have restrictions on pets. Let me check the lease terms for this property. Yes, I see here that the owner does allow one pet as long as you pay an additional pet deposit of $300. But they do not allow dogs or multiple pets. So a cat would be fine.
Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. Thank you so much for the information, Tom. I'm looking forward to seeing the apartment on Saturday. Should I bring anything with me?
Just bring your ID and wear comfortable shoes so you can explore the apartment properly. You might also want to bring a notebook to take notes if you'd like to. It's a good idea to write down your impressions. I'll see you on Saturday at 2 o'clock at 457 Oak Street, Building B.
Great. Thank you again, Tom. See you on Saturday.
You're welcome, Emma. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon.
Hi, Emma. Welcome. I'm so glad you could make it. Let me show you around. This is the main entrance. You can see the security system here. It requires a card to access.
Oh, that's really good for security. The building looks very clean and well-maintained. Are these the common areas?
Yes, exactly. This is the lobby, and through that door is the fitness room with some basic equipment. And over there is the mailroom. Now, let me take you to the apartment. It's on the 4th floor. We can take the elevator.
Great. The building is nicer than I expected. Are all the residents friendly? I'm quite new to the city, so I'd like to have a good community feel.
Most of them are very friendly. The building organizes a small gathering for residents twice a year. It's a good way to meet your neighbors. Here we are on the 4th floor. The apartment is at the end of the hallway, number 412.
Wow. It's at the end, so it's probably quieter. I really appreciate that because I work from home sometimes.
Exactly. That's one of the advantages of this unit. Let me open the door. Here's the living room. As you can see, it's quite spacious, with plenty of natural light from the windows. And there's the balcony I mentioned.
This is wonderful. The living room is so bright. How big is it exactly? And what about the views from the balcony?
The living room is about 350 square feet. The balcony faces the south, so you get a lot of sun. You can see some green areas from here and part of the downtown skyline. It's really quite lovely, especially in the evenings.
Beautiful. I can see myself relaxing out here on weekends. What about the kitchen? Is it large enough for cooking?
Let me show you. Here's the kitchen. It's a modern open-plan kitchen with new appliances, a refrigerator, a stove, an oven, and a dishwasher. There's also plenty of counter space and storage.
Oh, I love it. The kitchen is perfect for me. I really enjoy cooking, and this has everything I need. What about the bedrooms?
Come this way. Here's the master bedroom. It's quite spacious, about 220 square feet. There's a large window and a small closet for storage. The second bedroom is smaller, about 150 square feet. But it's perfect if you want to use it as a home office or for guests.
This second bedroom would be perfect for a home office. I often have video calls for work, so I need a quiet space. Let me ask you something about the price. The listing says $2,500, but I've seen similar apartments in the area for a bit less. Is the price negotiable?
Well, that's a fair question. The owner has been asking for $2,500, but given the current market, there might be some room for discussion. What price did you have in mind?
I was thinking more in the range of $2,300. The apartment is beautiful, but that would be more within my budget. Also, I'm a very reliable tenant. I've never missed a rent payment, and I take good care of properties.
I appreciate that information. Those are definitely qualities landlords value. Let me be honest with you. The owner has had this apartment listed for 3 weeks without a serious inquiry until now, so they might be willing to negotiate. What if we offered $2,400? That's a compromise between our two numbers.
$2,400 is better, but could we also discuss the lease terms? Since I'm new to the city and still settling in, I'd prefer starting with an 8-month lease rather than 12 months. That way, if I need to find a different place later, I have the option.
An 8-month lease is less common, but I can ask the owner about it. They might ask for a higher deposit to cover the shorter commitment. How does that sound?
A slightly higher deposit I could manage. What would be reasonable? And what about the pet deposit you mentioned? Is that still part of the agreement?
Yes, the pet deposit would still apply if you want to keep the option of getting a cat. I'd estimate the owner might ask for a deposit of 1.5 months, so around $3,600 instead of the standard $2,500. The pet deposit of $300 would be separate.
So that would be about $3,600 for the main deposit, $300 for the pet deposit, and $2,400 for the first month's rent. That's $4,300 total due up front. That's quite a lot, but I think I can manage it if the lease terms work out. Can you ask the owner about the 8-month option?
I absolutely will. I'll contact them this evening and get back to you by tomorrow morning with their response. They might also want to meet you briefly before making a final decision. How do you feel about that?
Of course. I'd be happy to meet them. Do you think they'll be open to negotiating?
Honestly, I think they will be. They're reasonable people, and the fact that you seem like a stable, professional tenant will work in your favor. Let me take some photos of you here so I can show them what a serious candidate looks like.
Sure, that sounds good. Thank you so much for being helpful with this, Tom. I really do love the apartment. The location, the space, the natural light. It's exactly what I was looking for.
I'm glad you like it. This is definitely a great apartment, and I think it could be a good fit for you. Let me give you my contact information again. Call me anytime you have questions.
Will do. I'm really hoping the owner accepts the negotiated terms. When do you think you'll have an answer for me?
I'll definitely call you by 2 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. If I don't reach you, can I send you an email or a text message?
Yes, please text me. I tend to check my phone more frequently than my email. Thank you again, Tom. I'll wait to hear from you.
Perfect. Thank you for reviewing the apartment, Emma. I'll be in touch very soon.
Hi, Emma. Great to see you again. I'm so happy you're here to sign the contract. The owner has agreed to all your terms, $2,400 per month with an 8-month lease. Congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. I'm so excited about this. I'm really grateful that the owner was willing to negotiate. This apartment is perfect for me, so let me make sure I understand everything correctly before we sign.
Of course, that's very important. Let me go through the contract with you to make sure everything is clear and correct. Here's the lease agreement. As you can see, the lease starts on November 15th and ends on July 15th of next year. The monthly rent is $2,400 due on the first of each month.
And the payments should be made how? By cash, check, or bank transfer?
The owner prefers bank transfer. I'll provide you with the account information at the end of our meeting. The first month's rent and the deposits are due before you move in, so you'll need to have $4,300 ready by the 15th of November.
I have already arranged the payment. I can transfer the money as soon as we sign the contract. Is that acceptable?
That's excellent, Emma. Very professional and responsible. Now, let me read through some of the important clauses. Here's the section about utilities. As we discussed, electricity, internet, and heating are the tenant's responsibility. Water and garbage collection are included in the rent.
That makes sense. So I need to set up electricity and internet accounts in my own name?
Yes, correct. You'll need to contact the utility companies. Usually they take about 5 to 7 business days to activate the service. I recommend doing this as soon as possible after signing the lease. I have some contact information for the main providers in this area if you'd like.
That would be very helpful, Tom. Thank you. What about the heating? Is that included in the electricity or separate?
It's typically included in your electricity bill. You'll control the thermostat in your apartment. Here's an important clause about maintenance and repairs. The tenant is responsible for minor repairs and maintenance, such as replacing light bulbs, cleaning, and small repairs. The owner is responsible for major structural repairs and maintenance of common areas.
What exactly is considered a major repair? I need to understand this clearly.
Good question. For example, if the plumbing system breaks or the heating system stops working, those are my responsibility as the owner's representative. The owner's responsibility. If a light switch breaks or a cabinet door comes off, those are typically minor repairs that the tenant handles. If you're unsure about something, you can always call me to ask, and I'll verify with the owner.
What about emergency repairs? What if something breaks on a Sunday evening or in the middle of the night?
That's a very practical question. I'm usually available by phone, even at late hours. The owner gave me permission to handle emergencies. For real emergencies like a water leak or a fire, you should call emergency services first and then contact me to report it. I'll give you my phone number and you can reach me anytime there's a problem.
That's very reassuring. Thank you for being so accessible. Now, let's talk about the pet policy. As agreed, I may keep one cat in the apartment. I will pay the pet deposit of $300. If the pet causes any damage to the apartment, the owner can keep the pet deposit to cover those costs, correct?
Correct. However, if you don't get a cat during your lease period, the full pet deposit will be returned to you at the end of the lease. The deposit is only used if there's actual damage caused by the pet.
That's fair. So all my deposits will be returned at the end of the lease as long as there's no damage and I don't have a pet that causes problems.
Exactly right. The tenant must return the apartment in good condition, with only normal wear and tear. Before you move out, I will do an inspection with you. If everything is in order, all deposits will be returned within 30 days after you leave.
What about renewing the lease? If I want to stay longer than 8 months, what would happen?
You can let me know about 3 months before the lease ends, so around April 15th. If the owner is interested in continuing, we can discuss a new lease, possibly for a longer period. The rent might change depending on market conditions, but we can discuss that closer to the date.
And what if I need to leave before July 15th? Is there a cancellation clause?
Yes, here's the cancellation clause. If you want to terminate the lease early, you must provide 2 months written notice. This means you would need to inform me in writing at least 60 days before you plan to leave. Early termination might result in losing some or all of your security deposit, depending on the circumstances and whether we can find a new tenant quickly.
So if I need to leave before July 15th, I would need to give you 2 months' notice.
Yes, exactly. And we would need to discuss the situation. Early termination is not ideal, but sometimes life circumstances change. If we manage to find a new tenant quickly, you might recover part of your deposit.
I understand. I plan to stay for the full 8 months, but it's good to know the policy. What about guests? Can I have friends stay over?
Of course. You can have guests, just be respectful of the neighbors, no loud noise or parties after 10 in the evening on weekdays or after 11 on weekends. This is a residential building, so quiet is important for everyone.
That's completely reasonable. I'm a quiet person anyway. I don't have wild parties or anything like that. What about smoking? Is that allowed in the apartment?
Smoking is strictly prohibited inside the apartment and in the common areas. If you smoke, you can only do it on your balcony, but you must be careful not to disturb neighbors with smoke or smell. If there's excessive smoking, the owner can charge extra cleaning fees, so I would ask that you be very careful about that.
I don't smoke, so that won't be an issue. Thank you for clarifying that. Are there any other important rules I should know about?
Let me go through the rest of this section. You cannot sublet the apartment or let someone else live there without the owner's permission. You must keep the apartment clean and in good condition. You cannot make permanent changes to the apartment, such as painting or installing new fixtures, without written permission from the owner.
Even painting a wall? That seems quite strict.
I understand your concern. Actually, painting is something we can discuss and be flexible about. If you want to paint a wall with a neutral color and you agree to return it to the original color before you leave, that might be acceptable, but I need written permission in advance. The main thing is that the apartment should be in the same condition when you leave as when you arrived.
That's reasonable. I wasn't planning any major changes anyway. What about the internet? Will I need to install my own router?
The building has good internet infrastructure, so most providers can service this area. I'd recommend contacting a provider and asking about available options. Different companies have different speeds and prices. Some residents here use providers like Spectrum and Verizon. You can ask them for recommendations once you move in.
I'll contact them this week. Now, let me make sure I understand the complete payment process. I need to transfer $4,300 before moving in on November 15th. This includes what exactly?
Let me break it down clearly. You pay $3,600 as the security deposit, $300 as the pet deposit, and then nothing more until you actually move in and your tenancy begins.
Wait, I'm confused. When do I pay the first month of rent?
Good question. Let me clarify. Your lease starts on November 15th, but you don't pay rent until December 1st. So the timeline is, by November 15th, you pay $3,600 deposit plus $300 pet deposit. Then, on December 1st, you pay your first month of rent of $2,400. That first month's rent covers December 15th through January 15th. Then you continue paying $2,400 on the first of each subsequent month.
Okay, I think I understand now. So before November 15th, I send $3,600 for the security deposit and $300 for the pet deposit. Then on December 1st, I send $2,400 for the first month of rent. Is that correct?
Yes, exactly right. You've got it. Do you have any other questions before we sign?
Just one more thing. What happens if I accidentally pay the rent late? Are there any late fees?
If the rent is not paid by the 5th of the month, you'll be charged a late fee of $50. If payment is not received by the 15th of the month, that's considered a serious violation of the lease and the owner could take further action. So it's important to pay on time.
I will make sure to pay on time. I understand the importance of that. I think I'm ready to sign then. Where do I sign?
Great. Let me show you where to sign and initial. Here on page 1, you sign and date at the bottom. On page 2, you initial here to acknowledge that you've read and understood the house rules. And finally, on page 3, you sign again at the end of the document. Make sure you read through carefully before signing.
I've already read through everything carefully and I'm completely comfortable with all the terms. Let me sign now.
Excellent. Now I'll sign here as the owner's representative. There we go. Congratulations, Emma. You are now the official tenant of apartment 412 starting November 15th.
Thank you so much, Tom. I'm really excited about this. This whole process has been so smooth because of your help. I really appreciate how professional and patient you've been.
It's my pleasure, Emma. I'm very happy to help, and I'm sure you'll be a wonderful tenant. Here is my contact information card with my phone number, email, and office address. See you then, Emma. Have a wonderful rest of your day.